Welcome to the official Football League video of Crystal Palace's season 1990-1991. Last season was Palace's first back in Division 1 and was marked by an FA Cup final appearance. Could they improve on that in this campaign? You'll see all the goals from all the games as the Eagles soar again. Last season's heady success in cup competitions at Wembley in the FA Cup and semi-finalists in the Zenith competition disguised a disappointing league position of 15th. But the money generated from those cup runs was put back into the team as Steve Coppell made 3 big summer signings to strengthen his squad. Eric Young came from Wimbledon for £850,000, a commanding central defender who'd won an FA Cup winners' medal back in 1988. John Humphrey cost £450,000 from Charlton Athletic, a fullback with over 350 league appearances. And Glyn Hodges, a Welsh international midfield player, joined the Eagles for £410,000 from Watford.
The easy thing about winning the cup or doing well in the cup is that you only need to win 5 or 6 games. Over the course of the 38 games in the season, it was apparent that we just weren't good enough. We had certain deficiencies in the strength of our squad and deficiencies in quality in certain positions. And it's on the league that you do judge yourself. That's the area where you can say whether you're good, bad or indifferent. Now we finished about 5th, 6th from bottom, wherever it was, and it was obvious we had to do something. Eric came in and he was established First Division. I think we couldn't really take the gamble anymore of buying potential. In our rise from the Second Division, we'd always bought potential players we thought were going to be good, and we hadn't really bought any established players. Once we were in the First Division, we realised very, very quickly that we needed a proven quality. And in each of the 3 players, we had, to a greater or lesser extent, proven quality.
Of the 4 players who left, the most notable was John Pemberton, an ever-present in last year's side. Pemberton was sold to Sheffield United for £300,000 to make way for John Humphrey. So the first team squad looked like this. Nigel Martin settling in for his first full season between the posts, hoping for a call-up to the full England side. A much-strengthened defence with new boys Young and Humphrey joining Andy Thorne and the now-established left-back Richard Shaw. Jeff Thomas, the club captain, and Andy Gray only missed 4 games between them last season, and their forceful play in central midfield would be of critical importance. Up front, it would be Bright and Wright, scorers of 30 goals last season and recognised as one of the most effective striking partnerships in the league. And so to the first game of the new season. It was away at Luton Town.
Crystal Palace let in 66 goals last season, but today their new signings combined well for an opening goal, a Hodges free kick, and Eric Young was on the end to flick the ball home. Then, just when the Londoners thought they might go into the break with an advantage, Luton hit back. Ian Dowie's near-post header equalising right on the stroke of half-time. That was the end of the scoring. Both teams face a difficult season, so a point each to start with was probably a satisfactory result.
There was an eventful London derby at Selhurst Park. Chelsea's David Lee handling after only 5 minutes. Andy Gray powered the ball past Dave Besant, who'd saved the Derby County penalty on the opening day of the season. But Gray is a volatile character, and 5 minutes later, he reacted angrily to a dangerous tackle from Dennis Wise. Wise in only his 2nd game for Chelsea since they paid Wimbledon a club record of £1.6 million transfer fee. Well, now he faces suspension, as does Gray. Both players were sent off by referee Brian Stevens. This was a flashpoint, but it wasn't typical of what developed into an excellent match. played from this point on as tenor-side, of course, but with emotions very much more under control. Wise departed first. Gray shortly followed. The quality of the football was emphasised by Crystal Palace's second goal after 67 minutes, taken with great expertise by Ian Wright. In a way, it was an escape for the Norwegian defender Erlend Johnsen. If he'd pulled right down here, it would have been an automatic red card under the revised laws of the game. So 2-0 to Palace, but still a storming finish, inspired by Tony Dorigo, Chelsea's Australian-born England international left-back. Crystal Palace 2, Chelsea 1, and that was the way it finished.
Steve Coppell's team, maintaining the momentum gained from their cup run last season, have got off to an excellent start. They dictated the early play, Ian Wright heading against the bar in the 15th minute. When Gary Thompson crashed one against the woodwork as well, 20 minutes later, it was beginning to look as if it might not be Palace's day. But justice was done 6 minutes before the interval, a cross from their new signing John Humphrey, and there was Thompson to head home from 8 yards.
Crystal Palace may not have turned out to be the team of the 80s, but they've made more than a useful start to the new decade. In fact, it's their best ever start to a First Division campaign. They always had the measure of Norwich at Carrow Road, taking the lead after just 6 minutes. Solako's cross, an uncharacteristic error from Brian Gunn, and Phil Barber needed no second invitation. And it's just possible the Canaries may have sung the best players for sale song once too often. There's certainly nobody capable of clearing the ball, although Palace had a fair slice of luck here. The rebound falling nicely to Ian Wright. And that's Palace 2 ahead and only 12 minutes gone. But Steve Coppell's men easily worth their lead, and it came as no surprise when John Solako finished the home team off with a strike early in the second half. The offside trap is sprung. Good control and finish from Solako. Could be the start of a new era for the cup finalists from South London.
Crystal Palace missed the chance to go top for the first time since 1979 when Terry Venables was in charge. They made a great start though to a highly entertaining game. Ian Wright producing the skills he hopes will grace an international stage and setting up Richard Shaw for his first league goal. Palace commanded much of the game, but just when that top spot seemed in reach, Stuart Pearce rocked them back with 2 goals in 3 minutes. First, the England full-back seized on Nigel Clough's flick and drove home the equaliser. Nigel Martin in goal looking anything but £1 million worth there. And then a Pearce special, a 35-yard free kick penetrating the wall, and Martin could only help it on its way. 2-1 to Forest, and the Selhurst Park crowd muted. But Jeff Thomas restored their collective smile when his looping header cleared everyone in the Forest goalmouth and somehow bounced into the net. A point each is a fair result.